Yes, good evening. Just a second. Um, all right. So, good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending this session on the 2021 Karnataka Architecture Counseling process. If y'all can hear me, please type in yes, and that'll be great. So, I'm getting a few yeses. All right, I'm getting a few yeses and a few no's as well. Um, so, I'm thinking there is some issue. Just a second.
Right. Okay, fantastic. Now you can hear me. That's great. All right. Sorry for the delay, but uh,
It's been an interesting thing to get this set up. So I'm going to resume my slide share now. So as far as what we are going to cover, okay. So this is our students who scored well in NATA, and we're still compiling the ranks of the students who've um, done well in Karnataka. So we'll have to wait for a few days for that, and we'll have a webinar with them as soon as possible. But what we're covering in today's agenda is the KCET architecture process, the COMEDK architecture process, direct applications to architecture school, and selecting an architecture school for your rank. All right. So I hope this is an interesting set of agenda. So please ask. Yeah, so please ask your questions whenever I cover certain topics. All right. So now, before we go ahead, please understand that processes have been changing each year. So what I say um, may not entirely be as correct as what if I refer to something from a previous year. But whatever's referred to from this year, I will tell you what you can depend on what you need not depend on. But ultimately, you need to verify your information personally before making decisions. Please only go through the official websites, that's NATA or JOSA for the last year cutoffs, or you could see the state board allocation that's on the CT website on Karnataka. And for private design schools, you can look at the COMEDK or each college website independently. Now, um, just to bring everyone onto the same page, approximately 40% of the seats in Karnataka in architecture schools are reserved for CET for Karnataka domicile students under the KCET quota. So if you satisfy the requirements of Karnataka domicile, then you can apply for these seats or you qualify for these seats, and the fees is approximately a lakh a year for these students. So 5 years would turn out to be 5 lakhs. If you do not come under Karnataka, or you're not satisfied with the school that you get in the Karnataka CET's options, you can always consider the COMEDK options where with a slightly higher fee. And in general, this is not standard, but in general, about 40% of the seats are allotted to the partner school. So it's an association or consortium of private designs, so private architecture schools. So what they do is they get together and have a similar process like CET, and that comes under COMEDK. So they generally keep about 40% of the seats uh, for for this. but not all schools participate in this. So some schools have 40%, some schools do not allocate, and they say we will only go by, a direct admission. Now, when it comes to a management seat, there are, in general, the annual fee ranges between 2 lakhs a year to about 6 lakhs a year. Um, some schools say I'll keep about 60% in open category. Some schools say I'll keep 100% in my open category, and some schools say I will keep only 20% in this open category under management seat. So anyone can qualify for this, irrespective of your rank. Now, coming down to the next aspect, the process is as follows. So first thing is the CET calls for uploading of documents, which is already done, and you're done with this. The next thing is the CET ranks are declared, that is declared as of yesterday. The third thing that is called for is the document verification. Now, document verification happens as per your CET ranking. But please note, this is your CET architecture ranking. And once the documentation verification is over, then you will be called to list your preference of architecture schools. Once you're done with that preference of architecture schools, then you'll be called for CT counseling. And excuse me. So round one, there'll be multiple rounds of counseling, and you can, if you're not satisfied with the schools that you get in round one, you can go for round two, and you can go for an extended round. And finally, architecture school starts, which is expected to be in November. um so right now I'm just covering the overview. The COMEDK process is a separate process. They will call for separate applications for architecture. It is not out yet. Then they will call for document uploading and verification and the ranks, and then the entire process happens again. All right. And the third thing is management seats. If you're looking at management seats, just shortlist your school directly, reach out to them, submit your documents, and pay the management seat fee, and you start classes. All right. So this is the typical process of what happens. So at this stage, I will come down and take some questions. If you have any questions, let me see. Um, all right. Can you address if counseling has started? A question from Dakshita Kumar. So Dakshita, counseling has started for the engineering students. All right. Just a second. Um, right. So counseling has started for the for the engineering students, and actually not even the counseling. It's just the document verification process has started, right? So what's happening is now, traditionally, always the engineering starts off first, and just a second, right? So generally, what happens is, the engineering always starts off first, and then they add document verification for architecture and other courses as well. Now, if you understand how the CET process works, um, the CET process works by first having separate admission processes for each. So technically, what happens is that they'll have one round of document verification for the engineering students, then for the architecture students, and then so on for the other students as well. However, and that happens in terms of rank. Suddenly they call people from one set of, say, rank 1 to 100 on one day, and then 100, or say 1 to 300 on one day, and then 300 to 600 on the next day, and that keeps going on as possible. Now, in between, what happens is, the process is sometimes, it overlaps. So then they will announce a separate list um, for the architecture students, and they'll say, okay, as per your rank, you come and attend the document verification process. um, right. Now, it could be possible that they would want you to also, it's kept a little fluid over here. uh, Now, always what happens is, There are students who look through the website and see, okay, the engineering students process is going on. So let me go tomorrow. They're calling rank 1000 to 1500. So I'm architecture rank 1400. So let me go on that day, right? So uh, so you can go along with the engineering if you want, but ideally what happens is they accept you whenever you go, as per that rank list, whether you go with the engineering ranks or the architecture ranks, they accept you. They should have announced another date for architecture ranks. So if you are worried that you've missed your dates, don't worry, they will announce another schedule. If you have your documents ready, then go along with the engineering process. But otherwise, you don't need to worry about this. They will give you sufficient notice, and you can go along. Like I mentioned, please, uh, reach out to CET again yourselves. Make sure that, again, this was the process. What I'm talking about has happened last year, but reach out to CET again this year. Make sure that you know this that verify this for yourselves. You can always reach out to CET. You can always go there, ask for yourselves, and make sure that you're following the process. All right. Do you know what documents? Okay. Um, so Gaurav, they should announce the document verification for architecture students soon. Um, you need to look through the official KCET website. Um, you need to look through the official KCET website to make out. Now, let me open the KCET website for you. Um, let me open this. All right. Right. So I hope you can see the KCET website, which is open here. Let me see if you all can see it. Yeah, so if y'all can see this, y'all can, all the latest announcement comes here, and you can click on this document verification booklet. Let me do this way. What you need to do is you need to open this document verification book brochure, go through this in detail. There's an English version as well as a Kannada version. So go through this in detail and make sure that you understand the entire process. They will, uh, they have specified everything that NATA marks card is required for the architecture course. All right. So whatever documents you require depends on whatever category you have applied under. So everything is mentioned over here. You need to go through this in detail and make sure you understand it, and follow the instructions carefully. All right. Um, right, right. So yeah, so I hope y'all are seeing this, right? Um, so this is the information booklet which you can go through in detail. It has all the information here, um, the schedule, and everything, whatever the explanations of the documents are. So is I hope this is clear. I'm just going to look for more questions. I'll come down to giving preferences to counseling to colleges in a little while. I'll come back to that. That's in the next section. Do you know what documents we should take? So Advik, I hope you've understood. Um, right. So Advik says that he went to the KCT center and they told him to come tomorrow as well. Yes, he can. Like I mentioned, you can go along with the engineering. The document verification process is a quick process. They announce a limited number, but a lot more students they can take. So you can go along with the engineering process, as with the depending on your ranks. Um, how long does the whole process take? It doesn't take too long. It's a quick process. Make sure you take that. Sham has written in the comments what documents need to take. Sharad Bhaskar is saying, so can I attend the document verification tomorrow? Yes, you can. All right. Does copies need to be attested? Yeah, Kirtana is saying yes. Do copies need to be attested? Yes, copies need to be attested. Um, Let me uh, bring up this document again. All right. Now, if you see this, they have mentioned here what documents need to be attested, what doesn't need to be attested. But ideally, just attest all the documents if possible, and make sure you take the documents with you when it's there. All right. So even if they've not mentioned it, try and get it attested. Let me look at more questions. No. So Dakshita, does counseling happen along with document verification or after? Dakshita is the counseling will happen at a later stage. Um, the first thing is the document verification, then then the other processes happen. Shreya Shetty, what are the top CT ranks from Karnataka? We are still compiling the results. We've got a few ranks as of now in the top 20s, and we'll keep you, and I think even lesser than that, but we'll keep you updated. We'll announce on the groups. All right. um, do all the photocopies have to be attested? Yes, Kirtana. uh, Attestation is for the photocopies only. All right, so what you mean by attestation is that this is the original and this is a photocopy of the original, and that's what needs to be attested. All right. So that's it. What will happen if I miss my slot? So if you miss your slot, you can go on any of the days. So don't worry about it too much. Focus on getting through. um, what scores are considered? Harita is asking what scores are considered for Comet K. um, right, so what is considered is supposed to be the um, your nata score as well as your board score. That's supposed to be considered this year. However, the KCET cell has only considered the nata score, not your board scores. This is the feedback we are getting informally. We've not got official feedback from them, but informally this is the feedback we've got. um, so if let's say two students have, or say let's say 10 students have scored 110 in nata, then what's going to happen is they will look at the age of the student, and based on the age they will allot the rank, right? So let's say a student who's got a score of 110, let's say 10 students have got rank 110, and the oldest student whose earliest date of birth would get a rank of 100, and then rank, it goes further, and all in terms of age it would decrease in ranks. All right, so that's, I hope that's clear. um, right, I'm not repeating the questions I've already answered. Right. So they are they are saying in CBSE for 10 years. She studied in CBSE for 10 years, but they didn't give us a study certificate in our school, only a transfer certificate. What should I do? Please take that transfer certificate, go for your document verification, and they will suggest accordingly. But that transfer certificate should do. All right. We have only downloaded the mark sheet from Nata. Yes, that's sufficient, Ravi Gowda. That's sufficient. Is it self-attested? No, Harita. It needs to be uh, attested by a notary or a gazetted officer. Uh, Antika is asking if this video it will be uploaded on YouTube. Yes, it's the same link. You click on it, you can watch it again. What were the total number of ranks allotted in Karnataka? That's a question by Gaurav. Uh, how many people have applied for Karnataka CET Architecture 2021? Attestation should be from the gazetteer. Okay, so going with those two questions, what the number of students that have applied for under Karnataka CET for architecture is generally not announced, but what you can do is look at the past years um, architecture's cutoff, and I'm going to share this. So going by this, you can probably look for the last ranks that students have got, right? So here you can see it's, I think it's in the, you'll see a rank 2200 or through two, I think last year was 2400 odd, right? 2421. So something in that range, or possibly 2400 odd, somewhere in that range, 2,500 students is what you can think of. All right. Now, very important for you to look at these last year's scores, because this comes to my next part of the discussion where I'm getting questions from. Let me see if there are more questions. Attestation, yeah. Uh, is the CD copy required? All right. If you're done with document verification. Okay, Dakshita asking if we are done with document verification, can we start with counseling? No. The answer is they will announce the counseling dates and they will give you sufficient time. So do that. Sophia, is the final printout of the application form really necessary or just the hall ticket? Sophia, it's better to carry all the documents with you, carry excess documents with you if required. Um, but don't go with less documents. So if you're in doubt, carry, right? uh, is the attestation by school principal accepted? Yes, they do accept that, but they specify gazetted officer. In some cases they do accept uh, the attestation by school principal as well, but ideally just get it from a notary or a gazetted officer. That would be good. Need a clarification. I have both engineering rank and architecture rank provided by CT. So Ashita, you can go as per the engineering ranks. Go for your CT council. Is go for your document verification. Study certificate is there in the CT. Okay. Yes. So Sham has added that the study certificate is format is there in the CT brochure. Please take a printout, go to your principal, get their signature and seal, right? When will the rank list be out? Priyanka Pandit, the rank list is out yesterday. So please sign into the platform and see your rank. Do they accept sports quota in Comed K? I'm from Hyderabad. Uh, uh, so those applying from other states. So Kyati, what you can do is um, wait for the Comed brochure to be out, the application for architecture, let that come out first, and then it would be you'll get your answer in that. But yes, there should be generally there's limited, very limited provisions for reservations in that, but there are some reservations. All right. Should we get a NATA marks card sealed and signed? So Akila, you're asking a good question because should we get a NATA marks card sealed and signed? So ideally, what happens is, when you talk about attestation, there has to be an original, and an attestation is a copy of that original. But in the case of the NATA marks card, you're downloading a copy anyway, right? So it's always a copy. Now, the CT cell just says, I want to see that copy. So you need to go and get the notary to sign it. So it's always better. Um, okay. So Liz JJ, who lives in Bahrain, is wondering for Comet K counseling, is my physical presence required? So Liz, what happens is it's generally an online process. All right. Your physical presence may not be required, But what happens is, after that, um, for paying the fees to submit your documents, for all of that, your physical presence may be required. So it's important that you plan to be in India, but let the document come out, and then you make your plans to come to India. Ankita is asking, will COMEDK accept the 12 board marks this time? Ankita, I think they should accept it. Um, but the CT process was a bit of a shocker, so I would wait for the official communication to come out and then come in. Are the cutoffs going to be more or less this year? All right, as there has been a change in criteria. So Impu, the cutoffs would probably be the same, because or similar in similar ranges, because the ranks are let me put it this way: the the cutoffs is a preference. It's a notional thing, right? It's a preference of students going to each school. So important. Um, so let me come down to the cutoffs. All right. So if I resume my slide share, hold on. Right. So if I resume my slide share, now what happens is you need to look, depends on the quota you are applying towards. Okay. So now let's come down to the next process on selecting your design, your architecture school. Um, I'm going to go to this thing. All right. Now, very important in your list of preference of schools, right? Because once you finish your document verification, this should take about 10 days, all right, or maybe about a week to 10 days to finish the document verification process. Now, once you finish your document verification process, then they will ask you to put in your preference of architecture schools. Now, this is a bit of a challenge. All right. Why is it a challenge? Because there are so many schools to choose from. You don't know which school is a good one, which school is right for you. I'm going to stop screen sharing right now, because it's very important that you all understand this process well. Now, to um, just a second. Right. Give me a minute. Okay. I will come down to this. Hold on. Just give me a quick minute, because I need to show you something a little important. Okay. I'm sorry for this brief break. Um, right. At this stage, I will just share my screen. Okay. Now, choosing an architecture school. So now, by now, you should have some idea on how to choose an architecture school. Now, don't go with the flow, right? You need to see what parameters are good for you. It's very important that s- select an architecture school based on things which are good for you. Now, every school is good. Everything has something or the other to offer, and it is up to you to make sure that what a school offers is good for you. Now, ideally what you need to do is you need to not just say, oh, my friends are applying to this, or last year's cutoff was this much, so that's why I'm going to apply to this school, or I'm going to put my preference in this list, right? um, what you need to consider is multiple things. The location is important, right? Where is the school located? The competition, okay, which ranks are getting in, so what is the competition to get into the institute? Who is heading the institute is a good, very important thing. The brand, the infrastructure that you get, the brand name of the school, the faculty at the school, and it there could be a lot of parameters. You could add parameters to this, like a lot of parents say, okay, what is the placements of this, of the school? So all this is important, but it's very important that you do thorough research regarding this. All right, this is a very complex process, and it's very important for you to understand. In fact, one of the most important things is to understand who is heading the institute and what vision they have for the institute. You may consider a institute which is, been there for 20 years, or you may consider an institute which is there for 4 years, right? But both of them are there now. Institute which is there for 20 years may have the brand, may have the visibility, may have, a lot of standing, but um, the way curriculum is delivered may not be something that suits you. Whereas some of the newer schools are very innovative in the way they deliver the curriculum, very exciting manner in which they do it, and they try and get you a lot more opportunities, right? So you need to weigh the pros and cons of each and choose your preference of schools based on that. Now, if I go here, back to the questions, I saw a question from someone saying about NIRF rankings, right? um, is the NIRF rankings reliable? Okay, so there is a, so now I'm doing the session on, okay, so there's a question from Tiny Hydra who says, do you think the NIRF and the other college ranking systems reflect the actual quality of the website? All right, of the college. All right, so good question. Now I'm going to take you to this NIRF rankings, right? Now this is done by the government, and they have the rankings over here, and you can click on architecture, and you'll get a list of rankings here, right? Now, if you look at the framework that they've used, it may not be entirely representative, because um, you know SPA Delhi, CPT Ahmedabad, uh, these are phenomenal schools to be in, right? So these should ideally be on top. IIT Roorkee, it's very, very challenging to get here, and a lot of students um, find it difficult to get. So a lot of students don't even apply, right? Now, because this has students competing specifically for architecture, this would be a probably a good choice to consider over an IIT, right? I'm not saying that IITs are not good. I'm saying IITs are good, but the IIT process, if you see, to get into an IIT, students have to answer JE paper one, then till last year JE paper, JE advanced, and then they need to answer, go in through the NATA score. Now, not all students may have chosen this path because it is complicated, right? Whereas if you consider SPA Delhi and CPT, here people are coming here because of that these are places for architecture. So, in my opinion, now this is a very, very personal opinion, I'm not representing anyone here, but in my opinion, there are a lot of schools here um, which should be here but may not be very reliable. There are a lot of schools which are not here but should actually be here. So, I would not entirely take this as a strong. Um Hope you're seeing my screen, right? Okay. Right. Let me pause my screen share here. Okay, I think I was not sharing my screen so far. Um, Right. So, if you look at this, um, I would say there are a lot more good schools that actually need to be here, and probably the order needs to be changed. So I would not entirely depend upon the rankings here. It's okay, it's a guideline, it's information, but no, I've not seen any uh, ranking list that is reliable. All right. So this is the problem with any ranking list. The parameters that NRF uses um, for this is a little sketchy. So it may not be appropriate. It's a very generalized method. So I wouldn't use this personally as a guideline, but I would think that it's very important that uh, you see and decide for yourself, which is an important thing. So what you can do is you can go on to DQ Edge. All right. Now, when you go into DQ Edge and sign in, what you have here is explore colleges, right? Many of the good architecture schools are listed here. So if you click on architecture, you will find a lot of the architecture schools listed here. All right. Hold on. Right. Let me do one thing. Let me open it this way. You click on this. Okay, and you have a list of architecture schools, including the SPAs and some of the NITs. We've listed it here, but most of these schools are very good schools that you can consider. Uh, Make sure that you go through this list in detail and have a look at this. All right. In addition, what we are doing to help you out this um, with this thing is we are inviting schools from architecture schools to actually come and interact with students and parents in webinars next week onwards. It's going to happen on weekdays. We're still reaching out to the schools. We'll try and get as many schools for you to meet. Now, there may be schools that are your target, there may be schools that are not your target. All right. So it's very important to understand all schools, because even when, let's say, you've settled on a school A, and you know that's what you can get, and what you want, that's what you want, but also attend the webinar of school B, because there are certain things which are very interesting that they talk, which you can use in your learnings over here as well. All right. So it's very important that you attend this. Please follow us on our YouTube channel, and that will help you out. Now, again, coming back to our to other resources that you could use. Now, if you come to the DQ Labs YouTube channel, you can click on the playlist, and you can come to uh, this one, eMeet Industry eMeet. Yeah, you can come to this particular thing. Hold on. This playlist, right? This is, of course, the old playlist, and we'll be, but at least here, what happens is you'll get a sense of the schools that are there and what they do. This is, of course, last year's playlist, but we'll be adding from coming Tuesday onwards. We'll be adding to this playlist so you can have a look, and we'll invite as many schools as possible. And you can also invite let us know if you want any school in specific, and we'll be happy to invite them. Okay, so at this stage I'm going to pause my screen share and let me look at questions. uh, so Mansi is saying, I have a slot tomorrow, but if I can't go, can I go at another time? The answer is yes, Mansi, you can. um, Sarada, for document verification, should we call CET and get the slot, or will we be given? So Sarda, you need to look at your slot, which is available um, on the KEA website. Let me see if I can try and pull that up. Just give me a second. Yeah. So if I can show you now, this is the document verification process that is currently going on for the engineering students, but you can go along with this. All right. Um, it's specifically mentioned here for engineering rank facilitation in the center, right? Um, and it says here, in case if candidates have not got the engineering rank, but they have got ranks for any other discipline, then appear for document verification based on the rank of the other discipline as per the schedule. All right. uh, which typically means they will announce a schedule for um, architecture and other document verification, but you can also attend for the with the engineering rank as well. All right. um, right, so this is important for you to note. I'm going to sorry, let me share my screen, and I will pause the screen here and I'll look at questions. uh right. So Priyanka is saying, I don't have my rank on the website. So Priyanka, this is an important situation. So please go visit the CT cell personally and discuss your situation with them. They will give you an opportunity. This had been done a few year last year as well. We did have a few students that did not get their ranks. Then they went, approached the cell, and they were given a rank. Uh, can you refer good colleges in North Bangalore? I'll come down to that. Ayan Das, yes, this session was for KCT. It is for KCT. We are done with that. If you have any questions about okay, your questions about KCT colleges, we'll come to that. What are the specific questions you have about KCT colleges? Please let me know, and I'll address those. How is BMS College in Bangalore? I'll come down to that. Um, could you invite BMS and RV College? Yes. So, Khyati, we can invite them, but whether they choose to come is up to them. RV, we have hopes that they will come, but BMS, we are not very sure. We'll try and invite them, and let's see if they are willing to come. All right. Some of these schools, but if they don't come, what we'll do is we'll bring our last year students from BMS and RV and PESIT, the schools that don't, really want to come here, and then we will address those. All right. So now, Ayan is asking a question: which are the good KCT colleges? All right. Um, this is related to Bhaskar's question, which is how is BMS in Bangalore, which are the top colleges, right? Also, Harita is asking a question: which are the good colleges in North Bangalore, right? So let me handle this comprehensively, right? Um, Now, if y'all can see my screen, right? What y'all can see here is the cutoff parameter, cutoffs of the second allotment round of the general category of CT 2020, right? Now, let me take the general merit rank as a guideline. Now, if you go down this general merit rank, right, you will see, let's say, um, let's say RR school, the general merit rank cutoff is very poor, right? Um, let's say RVCA, the general merit rank is 84. So that means, so what it means, if I compare these two, It means that RV is a preferred school, right? It's a preferred school by most students, whereas RR may not be a preferred school, right? Now, this is one of the parameters that you can look at. Now, also, it's very important to see which round that this information is given, right? If it's the first round, generally a student, just to uh, show you something now, this is not entirely representative, right? Because let's say GSAP is a school, um, it's showing that the last cutoff rank is 1877. But actually, what happens is that, in the first round of CET, the cutoff may be around 800. And what happens is, in between, a student gives up a seat. So the student at 1877 in the third round or the open round, they may take that seat, right? So this is not entirely representative of what it is, but I'm bringing this up because a lot of students and parents use this as a guideline, right? Now, if you go by this, you will see Wadiyar school is preferred, RV is preferred, um, BMS is preferred, right? So you'll find a list of preferred schools in this manner. But just because the school is preferred doesn't mean that the school is will give you what you want, right? Now, each school has a separate focus, right? One school will focus on international relations, right? So they want you to get good exposure and interactions with international faculty, international students. There'll be another school that focuses on industry experience, right? So they will say, okay, we want our students to actually work on projects, and when they graduate, by the time they graduate, they should have multiple. Right. I'm not sure if I'm sorry. I think I got logged out in between. I hope you can see me and hear me now. Right. All right. Um, okay. I think there's some technical issues that I'm facing. So I'm just going to um, continue with what I'm discussing. Um, right. So let me quickly finish. Right. Would you know how many children attended NATA third attempt? We don't know. They've not declared that. If you don't get the first college of your choice round one, should I opt for next available college of your choice in the list in the same round, or should I wait for? So if you don't get a college of your choice, you can always consider going for round two and the extended round. But round two would be the most important, would be a deciding round. All right. Last year, were the architecture students called separately for um, document verification? The answer to that is they do it parallelly. Your student can just follow this. what they'll do is they'll say, okay, okay, just come and attend the document verification. So don't worry too much about the document verification. Make sure that your documents are in order and that it is working for you. All right. So I think there is right. So I hope I've answered all questions. Um, and we will be ending this webinar in the next few minutes. But how long is each round? Each round of what? The counseling or the document verification? Dakshata, if you can just clarify that. Yes, Tejasvi, Reva, and Danan Sagar, we will invite them. We are inviting Nitte, we are inviting, um, Vodiyar, we are inviting a lot of the good schools. So, like I mentioned earlier, in case we don't get Vodiyar or Nitte, we will be inviting, I mean, in case we don't get any of the schools, we'll invite our past students from those schools so that they can give you a first hand experience of that school. All right. Right. So, when would the academic year starts? The academic year would start apparently in November, but that's the information we've got. Do you know the general dates for application for COMEDK? COMEDK does it on the website. They will announce it on the website, and they will let us know. Since the NATA third exam was very easy compared to first and second, most of them may get a better overall ranking if 12 score is not considered. Yeah, Gigi John, this is, there's some things which are beyond our control. So, very difficult to, we need to probably accept what has been decided by them and move forward. Um, so, unless you want, you can approach them and have a discussion with them and see what they want, what they can do about it. Okay, they will, KCET cell will give you a clarification. When would the academic year start? Sorry, do you know general dates? With how long is each round for counseling? So, Dakshata, the counseling is a quick process. It's an online process. You pre-select what you want, and that college, in terms of your choice, will be delivered to you. So it's a very very quick process. It's all online and it's all automated. So um, it's very important that you think through your list of colleges and put the order properly, and don't make a hasty decision on that. All right. Um, so Harita, if you go on to DQ Edge, you have a lot of schools listed there. Uh, Look at all those schools. All those schools are pretty good. So please look into that. Okay. Should we list the colleges right after document verification? AGS, you don't have. They will tell you when you have the option to list your colleges. So wait for that. Till then, you make your study and research, and participate actively. When I say participate actively, ask questions during the architecture school e-meets with our invited schools. Siddharth is asking which schools are preferred in East Bangalore. Siddharth, look onto DQ Edge and you'll get the list, and shortlist from those. What is the but in East Bangalore, probably CMR, probably Gopalan. Those are good colleges that you can consider. North Bangalore, you can consider Nitte, you can consider Reva. Um, a lot of good colleges there. Aditya. All right. What is the cutoff for the reservation category? Dr. Kavita, please look through that cutoffs list and it'll be there. Varni, can you invite MS Ramay and BMS as well? We will do that. All right. Is counseling an online process? Yes, it is. My daughter's rank falls in the verification slot tomorrow, but our documents are not ready in terms of gazetted officer attestation. Can we go for the verification at a later date? Yes, you can go at a later date. Don't worry, they're not too stringent about this. You can just go walk in at whenever this is happening, and they will verify your documents. All right. And they may also announce a specific verification date for the architecture schools as well. Right. So it's almost 7 p.m. Um, oh, yes. So Sham is saying that there are a lot of notaries near the CT office as well. So you can just go look for that and uh, target that. Okay. Get your documents verified, notarized next to the CT office itself. Right. So if you like this webinar, please click on the like button. If you've enjoyed, if you found this useful, please click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is very important that you do that. It encourages us. And also in your comments, post what um, what other webinars you'd like to see, or which colleges you'd like to would like invited here, and um, then we'll take it from there. All right. For general merit, this is the last question I'm taking because we need to we have a hard stop at 7 o'clock. So for general merit, what is the CT? What is the rank cutoff expected for RV and BMS for general merit? Uh, we cannot tell you the expected cutoff, but if you use last year's cutoff, you can use it as a guideline. Rohini Pisupati, thank you so much for your comment. Um, Looking forward to more interactions with you. Okay. Dia is asking, should we go twice if they keep? If it's a nice question, so I'll attend to this. If we go twice, if we go during the engineering date and they keep another date for architecture students, should we go twice? The answer is no. Once your document is verified, it is verified. All right. Um, right. Thanks a lot to everyone who's participated here. We need to end this now, and hope you found this useful. Again, once again, click on the like button so that we know you all have enjoyed this. All right. Thank you, Sarada. It's been very interesting. Right. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.